What if everything you were told about education was a lie? What if the very system designed to liberate your mind has actually been quietly imprisoning it? Before we dive deep into this uncomfortable truth, if you're ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about learning and success, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to the channel. We're about to expose the greatest deception of our modern age, and trust me, you'll never look at education the same way again. You spent 12 years in school. Maybe 16. Perhaps even 20. You memorized formulas you've never used. You studied subjects you'll never need. You jumped through hoops, collected certificates, and followed the path everyone said would lead to success. And now you're wondering why that promised land never materialized. Why success feels so elusive despite doing everything right. Here's the truth bomb nobody wants to drop on you: you weren't educated. You were processed. The factory model, education's original sin. Let me take you back to the late 19th century. The Industrial Revolution is in full swing, and factory owners have a problem. They need workers, compliant, punctual, obedient workers who can perform repetitive tasks without asking too many questions. Enter the Prussian education system, which would become the blueprint for modern schooling worldwide. This system wasn't designed to create thinkers. It was engineered to create workers. Listen carefully to this: the bells that ring in your schools. They mimic factory shift changes. The rows of desks. Assembly line stations. The standardized testing. Quality control checks. You weren't being educated, you were being trained to fit into an industrial machine that doesn't even exist anymore in the same form. Think about it. When was the last time your education system taught you to question authority? To challenge the status quo? To think independently? Never. Because that wasn't the goal. The goal was obedience disguised as learning, conformity packaged as education. The standardization trap. Here's where the deception gets even deeper. Modern education tells you that intelligence can be measured by a single number, that your worth can be determined by how well you perform on a standardized test on a random Wednesday morning. They've convinced you that there's one right answer to every question, one correct path to follow, one way to be smart. But you know what? Einstein failed math classes. Steve Jobs dropped out of college. Richard Branson has dyslexia. Were they uneducated? No, they were differently educated. They refused to let a broken system define their intelligence or limit their potential. The standardization of education is perhaps the greatest scam ever pulled on humanity. Because here's what they don't tell you: every single human brain is wired differently. You have unique strengths, distinctive ways of processing information, and individual talents that no standardized test can measure. But the system doesn't care about your uniqueness. It wants you to fit the mold. And when you don't, it labels you as deficient, problematic, or simply not college material. The credential obsession. Now let's talk about the paper chase. Society has convinced you that you need a degree to be successful. That without that diploma hanging on your wall, you're somehow less valuable, less intelligent, less worthy of opportunity. Universities have become gatekeepers of success, charging astronomical fees for the privilege of attending their institutions. But here's the dirty secret: most of what you learn in university becomes obsolete within 5 years. The half-life of professional knowledge is shrinking rapidly. That degree you spent 4 years and $50,000 obtaining, it taught you outdated information using outdated methods for a job market that no longer exists. Don't misunderstand me: specialized fields like medicine, engineering, and law require formal education. But for the vast majority of careers, the degree has become nothing more than an expensive permission slip. A signal to employers that you can show up on time, follow instructions, and endure 4 years of bureaucratic tedium. Meanwhile, the self-taught programmer is building revolutionary apps. The dropout entrepreneur is disrupting entire industries. The curious autodidact is mastering multiple disciplines through free online resources. These people aren't uneducated, they're differently educated. And increasingly, they're outperforming their credentialed counterparts. The real education they never gave you. You want to know what real education looks like? It's not memorizing dates and formulas. It's learning how to learn. It's developing critical thinking skills that help you separate truth from manipulation. It's understanding human psychology so you can navigate relationships effectively. It's mastering financial literacy so you're not enslaved by debt and ignorance about money. Did your school teach you how to negotiate? How to think strategically? How to manage your emotions? How to build genuine wealth? How to create value in the marketplace? No. Because the system wasn't designed to create free, financially independent thinkers. It was designed to create compliant employees who would trade their time for money without ever questioning the arrangement. Think about the critical life skills you need to thrive in the modern world: persuasion, salesmanship, investing, entrepreneurship, digital literacy, self-discipline, resilience, networking. Did your 12 years of compulsory education address any of these? Or did you learn the quadratic formula instead, a tool you've literally never used outside of a test? The information age paradox. Here's the beautiful irony: we live in the greatest era of accessible education in human history. You have more information at your fingertips right now than the greatest scholars of the Renaissance had in their entire lifetimes. Libraries of Alexandria worth of knowledge are available through a device in your pocket. Free courses from world-class universities. Tutorials on every skill imaginable. Communities of experts willing to share their knowledge. Yet society still insists you need to go into massive debt and spend years in classrooms to be educated. Why? Because the educational industrial complex is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Student loans are profitable. Universities are businesses. The credential economy serves those who control the credentials, not those who seek knowledge. You don't need permission to learn anymore. You don't need to wait for someone to teach you. The greatest education you can give yourself is the one you design yourself, tailored to your goals, your interests, your timeline, and your learning style. The curiosity they killed. Remember when you were a child? You asked, why, constantly. Everything fascinated you. You wanted to understand how things worked, why people behaved certain ways, what made the world tick. You were a natural learner, driven by pure curiosity. Then the education system got hold of you. It took that beautiful, organic curiosity and beat it into submission. It told you when to learn, what to learn, how fast to learn it, and exactly what answer to give. It punished creative thinking and rewarded memorization. It killed your questions and demanded only correct answers. By the time you graduated, that spark of curiosity, that natural love of learning, had been extinguished. You learned to see education as a chore, learning as boring, and curiosity as irrelevant. The greatest crime of modern education isn't what it fails to teach you. It's how it destroys your natural desire to learn. Breaking free from the deception. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you break free from a system that's been deceiving you your entire life? First, you reclaim your education. You become the architect of your own learning journey. You identify the skills you actually need, not what society says you should know, but what will genuinely move you toward your goals. Then you pursue those skills relentlessly through whatever means necessary: books, courses, mentors, practice, failure, iteration. Second, you understand that education and schooling are not the same thing. Schooling is what happens in institutions. Education is what happens when you deliberately expand your capabilities and understanding. Mark Twain said it perfectly: "I have never let my schooling interfere with my education." Third, you develop the one skill that matters more than any other: learning how to learn. Once you master this meta skill, everything else becomes accessible. You can teach yourself anything. You become unstoppable because you're no longer dependent on institutions, teachers, or permission givers. The real path forward. The future doesn't belong to those with the most impressive degrees. It belongs to those who can adapt fastest, learn continuously, and apply knowledge practically. It belongs to the curious, the self-directed, the ones who question everything and refuse to accept, because that's how it's always been done. You don't need to abandon formal education entirely. But you need to see it for what it really is, just one tool among many, not the golden ticket you were promised. Use it strategically if it serves your goals, but never mistake credentials for competence or degrees for wisdom. Your real education begins the moment you take responsibility for it. The moment you stop waiting for someone to teach you and start teaching yourself. The moment you prioritize practical knowledge over theoretical credentials. The moment you realize that the most valuable education is the one that helps you create value in the world, solve real problems, and achieve meaningful goals. The choice is yours. You're standing at a crossroads right now. You can continue believing the narrative that society has been selling you, that formal education is the only path, that credentials determine your worth, that you need to follow the prescribed route to success. Or you can wake up to the deception. You can recognize that you've been trained rather than educated, processed rather than enlightened. And you can do something radical. You can take control of your own learning, design your own curriculum, and pursue knowledge that actually matters to your life and goals. The system will resist. It will tell you that you're being foolish, that you need those credentials, that self-education isn't legitimate. But deep down, you know the truth. You've felt the emptiness of going through the motions. You've experienced the frustration of learning things you'll never use. You've questioned why so much of your education felt irrelevant to real life. The great deception of modern society about education is this: they convinced you that learning happens in classrooms, knowledge comes from institutions, and intelligence can be measured by standardized metrics. They made you believe that without their approval, their credentials, their permission, you couldn't be truly educated. But you are more capable than they ever told you. You have more potential than any test could measure. And you have access to more knowledge than any institution could contain. The question isn't whether you're educated enough. The question is whether you're brave enough to reject the deception and educate yourself on your own terms. Your mind is not a container to be filled by others. It's a fire to be ignited by you. Stop letting others control your intellectual growth. Stop accepting the limitations they've placed on your learning. Stop believing that your education is something that happens to you rather than something you create. Take back your mind. Reclaim your curiosity. Design your own education. And watch what happens when you stop being a product of the system and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. The great deception ends the moment you stop believing it. That moment can be right now. What are you going to do about it?